style of fighting with theirs would probably be the most formidable way of fighting in the world. With our method of kicking and punching, with theirs of control, would be just phenomenal. So they did agree to come down and give a seminar today. I would like to introduce them to you. The oldest son is Horion Gracie, who is the oldest of the sons, and then Helson, the second, and then Hickson, who is the champion, by the way. He's the champion of Brazil and probably everywhere else. And then Hoyce, next to another son, Gracie, and then Gileon, Volker, and I'll go to that. Hinso, Carlos, name my name, Carlos. That's easy to remember. And Poirier, which is another Gracie. And so they've all come in from Rio to just specifically to give the seminar today. And I think you're going to be very excited of this seminar. So what we will do to get started, because we've only got so much time today, is I'm going to turn it over to Horion Gracie, and then he'll just organize the whole thing. But first, let's show our respect by bowing to them. Okay, come to attention. Bow to them. Okay, then Horion Gracie will take over and organize it however you want to do. It's your show. Thank you.
I'd like to start by giving you just a release tape that we have. Which do we have? It's not a broadcast quality tape. It's more of a demonstration of Jiu-Jitsu, Gracie Jiu-Jitsu in action.
Okay. But we'll show part of this tonight, too, at the meeting.
Great.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a great pleasure for us to be here. Our father that couldn't make it this trip, my sister's getting married tomorrow in Brazil, so half of the family is not going to be there. So our father could not make it. He asked me to read this note to all of you, please. Dear sirs, I must congratulate Mr. Chuck Norris for taking the initiative to promote this memorable encounter of martial arts. Without question, this meeting will be of great importance for both arts due to the benefits that both styles have to offer. I trust that my children will present an enlightening demonstration. Sincerely, Elio Gracie.
I would like to mention one thing about Mr. Gracie. He's in his 70s, correct?
75 years.
75 years old. And I was working with him on the mat. And you know, I studied judo for 5 years, so I knew a little bit about mat grappling. So I was on top of Mr. Gracie. He says, punch me. I go, oh, Mr. Gracie, I can't do that. He said, no, punch me. I said, all right. So I brought my hand. Well, next thing I know, I'm seeing stars. I'm being choked out before I even had a chance to even move. Mr. Gracie studied in Japan about 60 years ago. And then he came back to Brazil. Is that correct?
Excuse me, almost. He never went to Japan to study, but he learned from a former world champion that went to Brazil about 70 years ago. And he learned the basics from the Japanese. Actually, his older brother, Carlos.
Yeah, that was in Brazil, that tape.
Yes, that match that you saw was in Brazil. So
there's a tape of his father back years and years ago doing jiu-jitsu against a Japanese man.
With a former world champion, yeah. And this Gracie Jiu-Jitsu has actually been developed by our family for the last 60 years. And so it's not exactly the same kind of Jiu-Jitsu that you would fight in Japan. We got the basics from the former world champion, and then we developed our own style. So that's what the Gracie Jiu-Jitsu is called, to differentiate this style from all other style of Jiu-Jitsu that you might have heard of. We could have called it something else, but since we got the basics from Jiu-Jitsu, 60% of what we do today has actually been developed by our family. So it's not exactly the same thing, it's kind of a variation of it. And hopefully we're going to have a nice show for you today. We will start the program by showing you a little bit of what we call the self-defense program, in which we're going to show you a sequence of defenses for different kinds of aggressions. Okay, we have Hoyce and Hickson. We're going to start, I'm going to call in the movements, and we're going to be showing the defense for a specific move.
Everyone can move in, must move in.
And also sit down, please, dear. Make yourself at home.
Anybody in way?
Okay. So we have here the defense against you from the front. Person that grabs you on the collar. Thanks. Okay, a headlock from the side. Not a real headlock. Complete with an arm lock here. Okay, headlock from the front. First someone grabs you in a bear hug from the front. Grabbing you under the arms from the front. From behind, please. Aggression to the neck from behind. Aggression to the neck. Standing back. Person grabs you over the arms. Não passa essa, por baixo do braço. Lifting him up. Just a basic punch from the front. Well, this is just a basic idea of some of the movement that we have in our very basic self-defense program. In order to get the feel for how simple these techniques are and how objective they are in an everyday life, the best way to do it is if we can actually have somebody to try the move. So we need a volunteer. See, when you step behind him here, stop. As you lift him up, the hip is what's going to do it. One thing you want to be careful with, yes, good, is that you don't do this move and take a chest and hurt your knee. So you don't want to do this number. You want to do this number, go around, and lift the person up almost in a straight up position. That's what's going to do it. Instead of doing this and taking a chance and hurting your knee, you want to pick him up with the hip. Yeah. 1, 2, and then you lift the guy up with this. See, I'm not twisting my knee, okay? Let me try this here. In a situation like that, yeah, go ahead. Here, pretty much in a street fight, you can just squeeze the neck. It's pretty much bad news. So, continue um pouquinho. Okay, thank you. What happens here is a disposition that, as a good karate man, you would never hope to end up in a position like this. That's the last position you want to be in. Because this way here, you can't, because when a person is like this, look, that's the worst position to be in a fight, by the way. You can't reach the person, and he can reach you. Because he has the distance of his knees on his favor. So that increases his range of safety while he can hit the person on the bottom. So the person on top, is harder for him to have effectiveness from down there as the person can hit from up here. Okay? So what we want you to feel here is what it feels like to be in the worst position, and then we'll turn around and show you how to get out of this. Have you ever been in a position like this before? Luckily not. The second hand grabs the cloth and holds the person up here. My elbow's on the ground. Huh? That's what I want to do. Trap this and hold close. I lock this foot. God, he might throw me around the room, but the arm is not going to get out of my chest anymore. So I lock the foot on the same side of the arm, lock everything here, and then as I lift my hip up, he can't help but go. And we get to this point, we'll stop and do it again. No problem. Match up. Everyone puts his leg up like this. Let's say that this is a very basic way to escape from the person's leg. Okay? No, the person is, he's doing a very basic step. So right now, you might think, well, if he does this, I'm going to hit him on the face. That's the first thing that crosses your mind. You have a free arm over there. He's holding his arm here, so he will not be choked, which is his main concern. Protects the arm so the guy cannot get him on the choke. So he blocks one arm. With one hand, you cannot choke the person from this position. So the reason that Royce has got one leg up and he's doing this here is because this is a very basic way to escape from this move, as I said. Yeah, he would be vulnerable for a punch. But for him to do the same movement and prevent you from hitting him, it takes a group of elements that we don't have yet. That would be eventually we would get to how to pass the guard without giving the guy on the bottom a chance to hit me. Yes, it's part of the program, a few more steps down the road. But for now, since this is a very basic and you're not familiar with this, I can't jump 4 or 5 steps in between. So I have to go by this and just expect and ask you not to think about the punching, because in a real fight, you couldn't hit him. You know what I'm saying? If he did the other move, what I'm saying. Yeah. If he goes the other way around, that's the thing. But why did Little Red Riding Hood went to the loaf? That's the whole story. You're going to go around, everything will be no story. So, the point is, let's ask you for now, no punching. Thank you. But now, don't let him escape. Do whatever you want to prevent him from escaping without the punching, because the punch would require a couple of other tricks. He puts his leg up, he slides his arm under his leg, and now he works his way around, around and around, goes across the side here, takes his time, and now he's mounted. Thank you. Step behind, lower your hip, lift the guy up here, and over he goes. He should not go this way, he should go that way. That's where he goes. So, baixa a base aqui, para. So he goes over your base. See, his base is here, and the person will roll. Pode derrubar. The guy's going to roll this way and end up on this side. That's what you want. Then arm lock, whatever you want. Punch, kick. That's the easy part. Anyway. So we saw this one, and we saw this one on the ground. The way the person is here. You always want to keep your elbows closed to get to your body. So I cannot move my knees up. Hold me down with your knees so I cannot move up. Consequently, if I can't move my knees up, if I do this, and he lifts his hip up now, it's not as effective to throw my body out of balance. But if he holds the elbows here, I can't, now I'm going to go on. And that's why he anticipates by trapping my arm, so I can't get the hand. Now he lifts the hip up, I go on. Bing. Okay, he's here. He holds my arm so he can't choke. The hand will go inside of my leg, lowers the shoulder under the arm, grabs the cloth to give him a better support. He walks around and around, gets the leg out of the way, take his time here. In a fight, you stop. If you want to hit the guy here, now it's good. Cotovelo na cara. Bang if you want, or punch here. Bang whatever you want. And then push the guy's knee out of the way and mount.
Mostra aquela situação também, mano, quando o cara pegou na guarda, ficou agarrado, que podia bater de várias maneiras.
Certo. Okay. So in Jiu-Jitsu, what all these little techniques are going to lead you to is, as our friend Chuck was noticing a minute ago, is that you're relaxed enough to feel everything that's happening in the fight. So my whole body works like a sensor. Like a sensor, yes, that's the proper word. A radar. So as I'm fighting, his toe means as he moves his foot, I know what he's up to. I'm watching everything he's doing. Consequently, there is no surprises. When you get in a fight, everything, that confusion looks like, gosh, crazy thing. Everything is thought of. Everything is planned. There's no surprises in Jiu-Jitsu. As you start going to some way, we know what's going to happen when you get there. We already know which arm we're going to get. The whole thing is already like a chess game. We pretty much lead the fight to whatever we want. We never get the guy in the arm, I'm going to get this arm and yank it out. It's never that kind of thing. No. We make the fight go to a situation where you put the arm in my face and then I have to get the arm. But that's the tricky part. We kind of lure the guy into doing what we want to do. But that familiarity on the ground grappling is what's going to make that possible, because every little thing that you might do here means something for us. There's no surprises whatsoever. We've been doing this thing long enough. And as I said, in action, on the field, actually trying this thing out. When Rickson, recently, a couple of years ago, fought Zulu, that we have that fight, as a matter of fact, on that tape I told you about. The guy is huge. Rickson was not in there to exchange punches with him. There's no way he can knock the guy out like this in a punch. Forget it. Impossible. The guy likes to get hit, something like that. Wild man. Punch about angle to hit him. There's no space for him to do much. And he's mining the guy's back by hitting him with a kidney, often enough, very bad. So until the situation happens that he slips away, when the guy starts getting tired, spending too much energy, he's just serving his energy there. Soon enough, the opportunity happens, the guy slips to his back, and he goes to the guy's back and chokes him out. Now you know. So, so the point is that he waits. Technique allows you to wait for the right thing. You know exactly what's going to happen. Huh? Right, you can mix, you can fake one thing and do another. You can pretty much set the whole thing. You arrange it the way you want, because you know what's coming. The other guy doesn't. There's a bomb here, God, but you know it's going to blow 2 hours away, so you can go upstairs, take a shower, shave, then you go home, no rush. But everybody else doesn't know a bomb, they just go crazy. They don't know what time the bomb is going to explode. But if you put them on, we can go ahead and go for dinner and then, you know what I'm saying? So that's what we do in Jiu-Jitsu. We're taking our sweet time. There's no surprises. That's the tricky part. So no matter what position you find yourself in, there's an easy technique, as simple and as effective as the one we've seen so far. Okay, any question about anything else we have seen so far? Good point. Good point. In a Jiu-Jitsu tournament that we have in Brazil, this position here, the perfect throw like they do in Judo is a two-point situation. Just to answer your question. It's a two-point situation. You throw the guy perfectly on the ground on his back. So you score 2 points. Then, if you get the guy here with the knee on the stomach, it's a 3-point position. Because here you can be very vulnerable to him too. I mean, very dangerous. The person at the bottom is very vulnerable. The mounted position is worth 4 points because of the amount of damage that you can inflict on the guy. On the back, it's also very bad because you can hit, you can do all kinds of stuff here. So it would be just as bad for him to have me on his back as would be having me in this position here. So in a fight, I want to go on top of him like this. Very often, when a person is here in a fight, nobody wants to get punched in the face. So everybody does this. Bing. Makes no difference to me. Go the other way and get him on the choke or whatever, or a hit or whatever it is. That's your question here. So it would be just as damaging to turn your back to somebody. The guy got me from behind. That's how we do it. You turn your back, you get you from behind. So you can't turn your back to the guy, never. But it's an instinctive situation because if you get hit on the face, you just turn around and you gotta leave. Neck happens, choke, elbow, everything else can happen. So you must know what you're doing so you can face the guy, put him down, and you'll be on top of him. That's what you want. Any question? Away from Royler. Now Royler wants to grab him, right? Manda. If you want to hit the guy, you got to be within arm's reach. There's nothing you can do but be mathematical here. Just joking about the whole thing, but there's no way if you get this distance here, if you have a distance to punch the guy, he's also getting grabbed. I'll be cheating, lying to you if I say, well, if you do this, you can't help. You can't, prevent me from getting it. You can't. Because when you are in a good distance for the punch, that's the distance that we're looking for. Because your perfect distance for a punch or a kick is exactly the same distance we want to go for it. Because that is when you're close enough that if you make a step, it's too close for you. Nobody can kick the guy. If I'm here, I can't. Why not? Who knows it's going to be like that? Jump, big. Let's not let Chuck listen to that one in the movie. But you know what I'm saying? You know more than anybody else. I mean, this looks great. The guy jumped from here. Yeah, I killed him over there. It's not like that. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it is. But it's not. So the point is, he has to be within a distance that the guy can't hit. Now you have a powerful kicker. But from here, if he makes a step off of the man, now it's too close. And the reality is, if you have to fight or to shoot a rhino in the forest, right, running at you, the guy goes straight to get a good rifle, a good bullet, go bang, he dies. That's his history. But if you get a rhino, you get only one bullet, because theoretically speaking, you have one good chance for a punch. We are not punch-proof, by all means, gentlemen. We all have glass jaws here, all of us. Especially because the amount of fruits and so delicate food we eat, only vegetarians, and the thing is just so bird food that you won't believe. But all very, touch and we are out. By all means, punch, it's all done. You don't have to be an expert in punching and kicking to knock somebody else with a good punch or a kick on there. It's history, right? Now, you have a good chance there's a chance that you can get the guy. But the odds are that if the guy is trying to get a hold of you, to get that perfect one in on the right spot at the right time, it's difficult. Especially if you get a guy who is a longshoreman, big, strong, moving, golly, if you miss that punch, then anyway, going back to the forest here. So you get a rhino that is running at you, but the rhino ducks behind the trees. Change the whole thing a little bit. So if the whole thing getting close behind the trees, and before you know it, he's on top of you. If you get that shot and just wound him a little bit on the side, the race is still on because you don't have another bullet on your rifle. That's what happens with Jiu-Jitsu scene. Even if you get the guy and break his nose, the fight's still on. Give him a black eye, but the fight still goes on. How many, point of view in competition get hit, but still ready for another round? I mean, so what? You know what I'm saying? So to depend or to trust just on the punching and kicking, we personally find this kind of vulnerable situation to be in. Harmful to us. That's the trick. So go ahead, Mark. Slap him on the face. Go ahead. Any way you want. Go ahead, Mark. Go ahead, Mark. Go, Mark. Go. He stands up. You can't reach him anymore.
Okay.
No, please. Stop.
My
He can
stance
hit.
is good for me.
But Mark can't reach him, see? Now he's out. Now goes here, and he can hit from up there too. Okay? But pretend you think comes to fight with me here, dá uma virada na cara. Being very vulnerable. You know what I mean? If I stand up like this, he push no chão. I can fall back again. By then, his friends are here to kick me all the way through. So it's very important that when you're talking to the guy from this position here, you are able to stand up in such a good base that he cannot catch you by surprise and take advantage of that position. Because right now, better for him. I can't do much damage to him right now. So if I try to stand up here, he's going to push me back or punch or knee hit, whatever he wants. So what we want to do here, please, stand up. Is, as I'm here from a very casual position like this, push me down when I stand up. I'm going to put myself in this position. Most lots of you are sitting just like this. And as I get up, go ahead. I'm in base already. So, please sit down. So the tricky part here is to be sitting just like that, right? Rest in one arm. And you should be comfortable enough that the bottom leg and your bottom can get off the ground like that. So rest your arm here. Espalha para lá vocês um pouco. So from this position here, okay, like this, very casual. The more comfortable you are, the better. You should be able, não levanta ninguém já não. You should be able to lift your bottom leg and your bottom off the ground like this, comfortably. Try not to keep your hand too far away from your body, otherwise it feels a little awkward. Should be very casual here, very easy. From this position, the knee will drop behind the elbow. The knee must go under the supporting arm. Under the supporting arm. Right. Now, you're on. Great. Because here he can kick the guy, or he can go after the guy. He can stand up in base, or go for the kick, whatever it is. Even though he's down here, he's probably not here. Yeah. To kick him, you have to get closer. So that's when the guy goes for this and make him on. You can get up for that. In staying up in base, it's much harder for the guy to surprise you by jumping on you, whatever. Whichever side you want. Makes no difference. You're after the guy here. Okay. So now, I'm on. I follow English. He speaks Portuguese, but we have to speak English with you so everybody can understand. Thank you. So you have the person here. We trap his foot. Out he goes. You hold the arm. That's right. Leg up. Slide your shoulder under to grab your collar. When you lay down here, stop. Stop. Yes. Take your time. Don't rush it. He's not going anywhere. Right. Always take your time. It's very important, yes. And then spread your base on top of the guy. Okay. Good. Keep in mind that anytime you're in a fight with somebody, the adrenaline is going. His also. So if you allow yourself a couple of seconds to slow things down, he's not going to think of that. He's going to be burning energy. So if you're at 5 seconds, he's burning for 5 seconds. If you're in for a minute, he'll ask you to stop. Stop.
Pegar não.
That man coming now.
Now he's not on the headlock anymore. Continua. The fight goes on. Thanks. So you well, like this. See, it's dangerous like this. So the first thing you want to do is turn towards the person like this, sliding your shoulder to put your body sideways. This way, you're preventing a 250-pound guy from crushing your chest. So by the time you turn your body sideways, he's not on your chest anymore. You know what I mean? He's sideways here. You slide your body sideways. From here, you put your hand like this. Volta a mão. His hand comes around. I'm holding here. Goes around and holds here to make a frame with this. He's making a frame with this. Look, that's what he's got going here. All my weight is there, see? Like this. So he makes a frame with this in such a way that as I hold his neck and as I pull myself tight, the more I pull myself tight, the more it hurts my neck because the bone is right on my throat here. So now he backs up his body, still sideways. He backs away from me. The leg goes over. As he moves the body away from me, go ahead, I don't have the support of his back here, so I'll fall very easily back. Two things. The person who's holding it, please, so you don't get your neck. Oh, messed up.
Come to that. Very good. There you go. More side. Yes, come to that now. Okay. Side, look at the side. This one.
Hold your wrist, Bob. Hold your wrist. Yeah. Back up your head, Bob. Back up your head, Bob. Back up your head, Bob. Cross your legs. Cross your feet. Cross your legs. Okay.